busy.
Let's talk PBC, Premier Boxing Champs. All right, we had 2 weeks of it already. We had the NBC card, Thurman, Guerrero. We had Molina and Broner on last week, and then this week we had Spike TV. We had Sean Porter fight. We had Berto Josecito Lopez, and we had Areola. Okay, I like this. I like it. I actually like the second week better, but I like the PBC thing, man. I like the movement. At first, the first episode, I'm not gonna lie, it seemed a little WWE-ish because of the entrance, okay? I'm so used to the traditional, the team, the security's pushing through the crowd, the trainers and the whole corner of the fighters coming out. I'm used to that old school look. So when they first came out and they were walking by itself, I kind of felt weird about it. Like, the setup is nice. It's very flashy looking. It's flashier than any other boxing thing I've seen. And this is not even a pay-per-view fight. So I love the look, but the feel, it just felt a little bit too, at first, it felt a little bit too, I don't know, it was different, so it took a little bit. So the first night I was like, oh, it's cool. I think the setup is nice. It's definitely something new. It wasn't until the second week where I actually like, I noticed his difference. I like this look, because, you go back and you go watch a Showtime fight. If you have the Showtime card saved on your DVR, you go back and watch it, and then you go and watch like an HBO card, and you go back and watch this, and you be like, this PBC thing looks so much better than this now. So now I have something to compare it to. So we needed a new look, and I think the entrance music, I think it was pretty good. I thought the commentary on both weeks were pretty cool. It's good to hear other people do commentary. I thought Sugar Ray Leonard did a great job. I think Al Michaels has the voice because it's so familiar. If you watch football, basketball, even baseball, Al Michaels pretty much been on everything, so the voice is very familiar. His boxing lingo is not really there compared to the to Jim Lampley's and the Brian Kenny and all the guys on Showtime, whatever, not excluding the actual boxers. But Sugar Ray Leonard did a great job. I thought he was the best out of the 2 weeks that we saw. On the other card, I thought the other card on Spike TV was cool. I know you had Antonio Tarver. You had Thomas Horns, not doing the actual commentary, but he was talking like in between the fights. He was giving his thoughts on it, and he would do some commentary in between rounds, but he wasn't doing round by round commentary. But out of everybody, I did like Sugar Ray Leonard. I thought he was doing the best job. And I'm fine with the commentary. It wasn't no biased or anything, biased commentary. So I was impressed with it. But I enjoyed both fights. Now, as far as the numbers, I don't know what the Spike TV numbers are yet because it's still kind of fresh. I don't know if they put the numbers out yet. But the NBC numbers were pretty good. I believe NBC did 3.4 million they average out, and then I think the peak was over 4. It was during the Keith Thurman fight. It was kind of disappointed that Molina and Adrian Broner didn't live up to the hype because that was the first fight, and the crowd started booing early. Molina didn't really show up. Broner was fighting his fight with Molina. I had a hard time getting his punches off. He didn't really do much. He kept hesitating. We didn't bring the action we normally see from him. So in the result, I think a lot of people who were tuning in turned. Because if I wasn't really doing a YouTube, if I wasn't a blogger and I wasn't a diehard boxer fan, I probably would have turned the channel too. So it was kind of disappointing that fight just didn't live up to the hype. But the Keith Thurman fight did, and it peaked at over 4 million, which is very impressive. Okay, Very impressive. You know, that's all you can say about they're impressive. They're not disappointing. They're not record-breaking high, but they were solid numbers. They were very solid. We don't really have anything to compare it to because this is the first time a fight has been on network television in a long time. We can't compare it to Showtime and HBO because you have to be subscribed to be able to watch those fights on there. So we can't compare it to those. But if you can, I did go do some research and I found some UFC. All right, on Fox. Okay, I didn't do Spike, but I did do UFC on Fox. Okay, I remember the first the Cain Velasquez JDS Junior Dos Santos fight. I looked that up. That did 5.7 million. Okay, it peaked at 8.8 million. Now, that is a heavyweight championship fight. You know, that was the first one, and you have two of the biggest stars in the UFC. Keith Thurman and Guerrero are not two of the biggest stars in boxing today. Okay, I'm not saying that it had to be as extreme as a Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. But, you know, if you get a Canelo against someone else, you know, it's pretty much identical if that were to be on. Not saying Cotto neither. Not two pay-per-view stars, but Canelo, one pay-per-view star against another, you know, star that's undefeated or something, that would have been equivalent to this UFC card, okay? Rashad Evans against Phil Davis, that did 4.7 million, okay? Nate Diaz against Jim Miller, that did 2.4. You know, Shogun against Brandon Vera, that did 2.1. These are all averages, by the way. Henderson against Nate Diaz, that did 4.4 million. Demetrius Johnson against John Dodson, that did 3.7 million. So it has its ups and downs depending on who fighting and, you know, whatever. So I think the Premier Boxing Champions was a success, you know, especially because it's not a new sport. You know, you're bringing boxing back on television. Okay, like I said, I think the numbers would have did better if we had a better opening fight. Okay, it wasn't the worst fight, but it wasn't a good fight because one of the guys just didn't show up, didn't perform. And I think a lot of people probably turned from it. This is why the peak was in the Thurman fight, because that was just a better fight. It kept people tuned in. All right, if Chris Arreola was on there, nobody would have turned the channel, you know. But at the same time, that's what people love. They want to see blood. They want to see knockouts and stuff like that. They want to see people slugging. We didn't really get that in the Thurman fight. It was a good fight, but it wasn't really a slugfest neither, you know. So anyway, you know, I mean, listen, I think it's successful. I think I like the mood to it. You know, I think it's cool. You know, it has this modern feel to it, but at the same time, they do have they have like the Hall of Famers in there, like Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. I think it was a great show. You know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Spike TV more, though. I was more into it in the Spike TV. That was more hype for some reason. You know, even the walk-in music, it kind of gets you hype. You get the stereo going. You get the surround sound on. And I thought both of the fights were good, especially the second one. So I'm feeling it, you know. And you know, going back, I was watching the Showtime Generation card just randomly the other night, and just the difference in the level and the quality of just the show itself. It was just on a whole nother level, the PBC thing, you know. And those are Showtime and HBO. This is not just NBC, you know. The Showtime HBO have been doing boxing for years. So the PBC thing is good. It's a good look, and I'm looking forward to everything that comes later. Right. So far, good work. Can't get mad. All right. I see a lot more people on social media talking boxing right now than they have in the past, and that's all that matters to me. I want this to be a success, you know, regardless of what Al Heyman, the fights we didn't get before, you know, horrible year last year. I just hope it's a success, man, because boxing needs it, all right? So anyway, make sure you subscribe and leave comments.